Going on, everybody? It's Super Bowl week. We're getting ready for the big game on Sunday. Welcome to the First Line. My name is Massimo. Here I'm with my usual cast and crew, my fellow superheroes Mike and Taylor. Guys, how are we doing today?
It was a long absence, but I took a lot of time to reflect. And in that reflection, I have realized that this is absolutely insane, incredible. The Patriots are going for their sixth Super Bowl tomorrow night. Playing the Philadelphia Eagles. We got the hometown boys here going off against my Patriots. Guys, how are you feeling, Michael?
Oh, I'm feeling great. We got the opportunity to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Not a lot of teams get that opportunity. We get to win a Super Bowl. Not a lot of teams have that opportunity. Only two teams have it, and I'm just grateful to be one of the two teams playing for it all. And can't get any better than this. It really can't.
And this is going to be an interesting episode because, as an Eagles fan and Mike being an Eagles fan, but with Taylor being a Patriots fan, it could make for some very heated arguments. But at the end of the day, we all love each other. We just love the game of football. All we know is it's going to be a great game tomorrow. We know that these are the two best teams, NFC, AFC. So the first thing I want to talk about is before we get to the game, let's talk about the road to it, the preparations. What do we got to do? We know that, I know from my side, the Eagles got a speech from Brett Favre. They're learning Steratore play calling, the referee. And they're just getting halftime long breaks, half an hour. I don't know much about how the Patriots are preparing. And Taylor, I would love for you, a Patriots, not only a fan, but an expert, to explain to me what their process has been so far.
So obviously the big news coming that Rob Gronkowski is cleared concussion protocol. He was cleared 2 days ago, which means he's just starting to get back into practice. Will have a bit of an effect overall. Obviously, he hasn't been with the team all week, but not too much of an adverse effect. I was reading up a lot this week, and Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia, and I think even Josh McDaniels added that this is the most they've ever, and they meant this genuinely, ever had to have prepped for a Super Bowl. And one of the main reasons why is the Eagles' front seven. So a lot of focus this week has been on run plays, designing pass plays, ways to get around that front seven. The offensive line is going to have to step up big, so I think a lot of the focus is how are they going to be able to slow down that run defense. Obviously, the offense didn't really start out too well last week, but once it caught its stride, it really took off. So the Patriots are going to have their hands full on this game. Offense is not too much of a concern. Obviously, the Eagles receivers and the Patriots receivers are very evenly matched. I really think this game is going to be in the trenches here. The run game for the Patriots isn't as strong as the Eagles' run game. Some would argue that the Patriots' run game has won them a lot of big games, specifically the Super Bowl last year with the James White run. So I think a lot of that focus right now, to answer your question, Mass, will be on that front seven and how is New England going to be able to slow them down, and how is overall, is what type of quarterback are we going to see out of Nick Foles? So you have to I think Matt Patricia's been busy because the Eagles have a lot of weapons. So I think it's the front seven, and it's figuring out how they're going to slow down the Eagles receivers right now.
And figuring it out, I remember reading an article earlier this week. Bill Belichick is saying his team is watching over 2,500 Eagles plays just to understand how they formulate, how they move. And, being an Eagles fan, just watching the Patriots, this is definitely the toughest team to play this year. Both these teams got a combined record of 30-6, and hey, it's because they're both amazing. And I think it's interesting to see Bill Belichick, what he's doing, the way he's preparing. But Mike, tell us about how our boy Doug Peterson, I'm going to stop being biased now. Tell us how Doug Peterson is going to prepare for this game against the Patriots.
Well, you're going to hear this a lot. Chris Collinsworth's going to bring it up a lot. It's called RPO, run pass option. That's going to be a big part. You really can't go wrong calling those because they're two plays at once. One side of the field, a pass play's going on the other side, a run play's going on. So you always have something called right. But I feel like the Eagles are going to have to get even more trickier than that because the Patriots are going to do a lot of things. They're just going to come to a point where they're just going to blitz a lot of people, I feel like. So you can't run the ball against the blitz, and you won't be able to get it out quick enough against the blitz because they're just going to send a lot of people. So it's going to be after a combination of things. I feel like this game's going to be solely on the defense and what the defense can produce. The defense is going to have to give the offense short fields so they can strike quickly, get touchdowns, and just keep it going. They're going to have to jump them early, like the Falcons did, but keep jumping them until later in the game. That's the only way they're going to beat them. And I feel like this Eagles team can do what the Falcons did last year and hold on because I just like their depth. So I feel like the Eagles are the best matchup in the NFL for the Patriots, even with their backup quarterback, just the way their defense is built. And I'm really confident going into this game if I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I think a big part that will play into this game on Sunday is if you really look at the past Super Bowls with the New England Patriots, and you look at the Eagles, the current team, the Eagles in current day, a lot of those Super Bowls had to do with secondary play. Think about the David Tyree catch. You think about Mario Manningham scoring, eventually leading it down the field. You think about Malcolm Butler's interception. I think this year a big focus that I've really tried to stress is going to be a lot on the secondary because, as I mentioned earlier, the Eagles' receiving core is deadly. The Patriots' receiving core is good enough for Tom Brady, we'll say that. A lot of banged-up players this year, obviously, but Rob Gronkowski coming back will be huge. How will the Eagles be able to contain Gronk? And more importantly, how will New England be able to incorporate him in the offense? Because obviously we don't have to talk about the Eagles' defense. It's impressive for most ends, front seven specifically, but those cornerbacks are going to get on their receivers, and they're going to apply a lot of pressure. So I really think, obviously we'll get to this later when we get more into the game, but I think the final play is going to come down to a secondary play.
I think the big factor in this game here is definitely the running back committee for both teams, just because we've seen both of these teams utilize all their running backs. We're not going to see Rex Burkhead, but we've seen what Dion Lewis and James White can do when Tom Brady needs to get tricky with his plays. He's got reliable pass catchers, they got some tremendous speed, and they're going to be a problem for the Eagles defense because I do feel like their biggest issue this year has been with speed backs. Look at the Atlanta Falcons game. Tevin Coleman had 10 carries, 79 yards, whereas Devontae Freeman had nowhere near those numbers. I don't know the exact numbers, but
7 yards.
7 yards on I'm not sure how many carries, but definitely did not get the job done is all you need to know. Meanwhile, the Eagles, you have another interesting running back committee. While Jay Ajayi has kind of slowed down a bit this year from when he was in his first few games, he's still playing well. He still brings that 3-down back that you can bring in. Hopefully his knee won't mess him up too much because there are plenty of times this year I've seen Jay Ajayi run with the ball and it looks like he can, it looks like he can make it for the touchdown and then he gets taken down. It's
he's too slow.
And that's where Corey Clement comes in, and being an undrafted rookie, I love this guy. I love Corey Clement. I honestly think he's the best running back on the team right now. And to top it off, you have LeGarrette Blount, who, he's won a couple Super Bowls before. He's got a lot of touchdowns in this postseason. I think he's got it.
When I look at this Eagles team, it just screams resemblance of the Giants teams that beat the Patriots. The running back by committee. So this is sort of like an Earth, Wind, and Fire running back by committee. When you had the three backs with the Giants, the teams who beat the Patriots, and just that defense. They got pass rushers, they got waves of them, and they got fast, rangy linebackers. And Steve Spagnuolo was talking about on NFL Network about how those Giants teams prepared for the Patriots games, and they were just rush 4, get to the passer, and don't give them any pass plays over 20 yards. And I feel like this Eagles defense is perfect for that. The way the corners play, sometimes they can be a little over anxious, and I feel like the Patriots are going to try to take advantage of that from time to time. But majority of the time and overall, this defense is good at getting pressure with 4 and keeping pass plays under 20 yards. Eventually you get the 1 or 2 big pass plays. Every defense is vulnerable to it. But the way this defense is built, it definitely can beat the Patriots with the speed they have on that defensive line and what they can do.
You know what? Real quick, I think something that we could do something's kind of interesting. I'm going to start with you, Taylor, so that way I can get you in here. I think we should do a little position by position battle and just start it off, just do it like that. And I'm down to start off with quarterback, in which I know Taylor can probably explain why his quarterback might be a little bit better than ours.
Yeah,
just a little.
So I was actually
one of the givens.
I was actually thinking over the week. Obviously, a lot of everything's it's kind of hard to avoid this. What if Carson Wentz was playing in this game? And it got me thinking a little bit more about this. This whole playoff run for the Eagles, the 15-10 goal line stand versus the Falcons, and then you move on, you play Minnesota, and it's just unbelievable. It's not even close. It is not even relatively close.
Run them off the field.
And you think about it, just the whole run for the Philadelphia Eagles and where they're at in the situation and how much energy has really been in this city. I wanted to ask you guys as Eagles fans, a win here, do you think it would feel a little less sweet than it would with Carson, or do you think at the end of the day, a win regardless, no matter who's under center, a win is what's more important here? Do you actually think not having Carson in this game from a sentimental standpoint here makes a big difference?
And for me, in a way, it's almost to a point where it would be more sentimental if this team wins it compared to if they had Carson. Just what this team went through. I mean, I had faith from. A couple days after Carson got hurt, I was a little heartbroken. Man, this sucks. He tore his ACL. Got to think about next year. But then you sit back and realize, what you have in front of you. You still had a great path in front of you to get home field advantage. And I know this team is just so great at home, and I knew we had a chance to do that, and I felt like Nick Foles could do enough. And he's he's gotten better, and it's just to a point where Nick Foles is playing so great right now where, you almost feel like this team can do anything. And then this is probably why this fan base is like almost ecstatic right now. Before the playoffs, they're heartbroken. We're lucky enough to be home from break, so I was always in my car, listen to sports radio in Philly, and man, everybody was negative. Radio people talking about booing, everything was just awful. Now everybody's happy, and just a wave of emotions that have happened with this run. It's I feel like it'll just be great. I mean, if we had Carson, it would be awesome because we won it with our guy, our baby Carson Wentz. But just a roller coaster ride that this year has produced. If we can get a Super Bowl this year after that crazy ride, man, it'll mean everything.
Yeah. I mean, to me, if it's just the Eagles winning the first Super Bowl. I mean, I don't really need anything else to make it sentimental. As long as they get the first one, I'm all good.
And it's crazy because this is the greatest dynasty probably ever, greatest 17-year run in NFL history. And then you have a city here, Philadelphia, has never won a Super Bowl, playing at the top of their game, confidence is out the roof, and Nick Foles is the quarterback. But you wouldn't even know Nick Foles is the quarterback of just how much confidence this team has right now. It's just insane to me to think about. The Patriots are now playing in their second Super Bowl in 3 years. They're going for 6. And then you have an Eagles team over here that's going for their first one. But you'd think they're going for their 4th or 5th. You'd think they're just adding on to their collection with the swagger they're playing with just the overall momentum they've carried through these games. The NFC Championship was unbelievable. And I think, when you really look at this game right now, you look at a guy like Tom Brady, 40 years old, and you look at a guy like Nick Foles, who was almost going to retire a few years ago, going for a Super Bowl. 1 second he's in St. Louis, the next second St. Louis is the LA Rams, next second Nick Foles is back in Philadelphia and he's playing in the Super Bowl. And if you're not telling me that's one of the craziest things you've ever witnessed in your history or in your time as a football fan, then you're lying to me, because this may be the craziest Super Bowl run I've ever seen from not just a team from the NFC, but probably ever in my time.
So in this situation, for this specific Super Bowl, forget the past, forget everything else, forget all the accomplishments, for this specific Super Bowl, who's the better quarterback?
I think Tom Brady's the better quarterback overall. I mean, hands down. I think Nick Foles has equal weapons as Tom Brady, but I think Tom Brady is hands down he's the greatest quarterback of all time, regardless of who wins this game on Sunday. And I think both teams recognize that. Tom Brady's going to have a bit of an advantage, and I'll tell you why. He has Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels has played or coached in almost all those Super Bowls. He's known this offense for years. Amendola's playing at the peak. He's got Gronk to work with now. You have to remember, this Patriots team is famous. This Patriots team is very famous for run pass plays. It's funny you brought up the RPO, run pass option, because Matt Patricia this past week was saying that's probably going to be the biggest point where he's going to struggle a lot with the Patriots team, is how they're going to defend that RPO. Well, the Patriots actually run a lot of pass plays to running backs. And you have to think here, what would the Eagles defensively do? Will they send the linebacker out on Gronk? Will they put a corner on Gronk and put a linebacker on a running back? It's going to be interesting. And I think it's just both teams have these certain X factors that you can't help but think that this game will come down to that one play. And I think it really will come down to that last possession. Who gets that ball last, or who scores with how much time left?
I mean, just every single Patriots Super Bowl, I think they've won by an average. It was 4 points. I remember their first 3 Super Bowl wins in 01, 03, and 04. They only won all of them by 3 points. I think they only beat the Seahawks by 4 points, and they beat the Falcons by 6 in overtime. So all their games are close. It's going to be a game. It just comes to a point where the Eagles all year they've done a good job of not shooting themselves in the foot at certain times. In the 3 losses, on obviously the 2 main ones where they didn't play their backups, they shot themselves in the foot. But they've done it enough. That's why they have a 13-3 record. They haven't shot themselves in the foot a lot. But this team, I mean, has a better chance than the 04 team, in my opinion, because I have more faith in Doug Peterson than I would have Andy Reid, because Andy Reid, just you've seen just of what he has done his whole career, just how many times he just shoots himself in the foot and just kills everything for him. He's even doing it with the Chiefs, and I got a lot of faith in Doug Peterson because he makes it work. Even last year, you can just tell this team had peaks of this could be a really great team under Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz at quarterback, and I feel like this team has a great opportunity to show what it can do, because I feel like this is a very, very good team, and I think only the Patriots really truly understand how good this Eagles team is.
And I think it's funny, we can compare these. Actually, while we're on the topic, we might as well bring in the rematch. Obviously, that's the big point here. When you look at the Patriots team back in 2005 and the Eagles team back in 2005, obviously I think the Patriots had star-studded defense with Teddy Bruschi and Rodney Harrison. It's a little bit different now. They have some experienced corners, but a lot of this defense has been banged up. They got off to a very bad start versus Jacksonville, recovered. Patricia finally figured out the offense. So you have to think the same here. Nick Foles is going to have to come out of the gate here, and if they can get a little something like they got versus Minnesota, like a big, pick six obviously happened last year. Tom Brady threw a pick six versus Atlanta. If they can maybe not even get like a pick six, just force a fumble, a deep touchdown, take a shot, I think that's going to be a big point for them. And second half defenses, because the Patriots are a second half team. They came back in that Super Bowl.
That's what it's about, second half. That pick six, when did that come? First half?
Pick six came,
that was
right at
second
the start,
quarter, right?
Right at the end of the, no, it was the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, it was first half. There's going to have to point late third quarter, fourth quarter, they're going to need a pick six there. They're going to need a big turnover there. They're going to need something to swing momentum to them in the fourth quarter. So I feel like every time the Patriots play, they always get momentum going into the fourth quarter. And we can have the momentum for the first three quarters, but if they have the momentum within four quarters and it's within two or low three possession game, then I'm going to be scared because it's the Patriots. The Eagles are going to have to get momentum in their favor in the fourth quarter at some point or another. That's where it's going to have to be. You just have to either keep it the whole game or get it in the fourth quarter and find a way to do something like that, stun them, punch them in the mouth the whole entire game.
The big difference between this Eagles team and the 2005 Eagles team too is that this Eagles team has actually seen what it's like to lose players and to lose a lot of stuff. 2005. The only real problem the Eagles had for that Super Bowl was a slightly injured Terrell Owens, who still managed to make it to the game.
Yeah, and
now we're missing Jordan Hicks.
We're
missing stud linebacker Jordan Hicks. We're missing star quarterback Carson Wentz. We're missing Jason Peters at left tackle, who was considered the greatest left tackle of almost all time, definitely right now. And the thing is, even past those problems, we persevered. Halapudi, I'm not even going to pronounce that. Vaitai is doing a great job at replacement at left tackle.
Big V.
Nick Foles has done what he has to do at quarterback, and the linebacker position has been a little weird, but we've been able to still win these games.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like the persistence of this team is just like no other. The
next man up policy works better than it has in recent years, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like we actually have depth this time. Oh, Nigel Bradham's hurt? It's okay. We still got Najee Good, and hopefully Nigel Bradham doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
But maybe linebacker wasn't a good example. But still, though, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's just this team is battle tested. This Philadelphia Eagles team is by far mentally tough enough to take on this Patriots team for what they went through this season, the amount of stuff they lost to where they're at now. I feel like they'll understand they're battle tested enough to go to war with the Patriots, and this is what's going to be. It's going to be 60 minutes of full out war, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, the Patriots, they do have some injuries too. Remember, Edelman's injured, but the last time Edelman had an injury like this was when they lost in the championship game to the Broncos a couple years ago, and they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Then they did have him for the Super Bowl against the Falcons, and they won that game. I don't think Edelman's really a big factor, but it's just something important to look at because he is still a playmaker at the end of the day.
And that's the thing, you talk a lot about depth, and there's this whole theory of how does Bill Belichick find these guys? After a while, you're like, who's this dude? He played at the University of West Montana State at you know what I mean, at Bison Park. I don't even know. He
found Tom Brady in the 6th round.
He found Tom Brady. It's funny you bring up Edelman all season. I've thought, not having him being that speed slot guy, especially versus a team like the Eagles, he can do so much, like jet sweeps, he can do screens, he can throw touchdown passes to Danny Amendola. Not having him in that game is going to be a big difference, but one guy I'm definitely looking at this year, and he's impressed me at times and not so much at others, is Brandon Cooks. Obviously, the big acquisition in the offseason. Deep ball. The Eagles are going to play a really, really tight defense. Can Tom Brady get off that deep ball? Can he incorporate Rob Gronkowski into this offense? What can Danny Amendola do? Because if you think about it, Julian Edelman made that big catch. He made the quote-unquote miracle catch that put the Patriots in that position to beat the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Well, you don't have him in there anymore, but what you do have is Danny Amendola, who I feel like, despite all this attention he gets, his role has been kind of underplayed here in New England, and him and Brandon Cooks, they're the lead guys out there, and then obviously you're going to have, Philip Dorsett catch to catch, quick curl flat or something like that, and then you're going to get, Chris Hogan in that game. He's going to incorporate them in the run game, but Brandon Cooks and Danny Amendola, what are they going to be able to do? Can Tom Brady get some deep balls to Brandon Cooks? That's what I'm looking at here.
So look at it from a little different angle. The biggest team who is influencing this Super Bowl outside of obviously the Patriots and Eagles is the New York Giants. The Eagles are going to look at what the Giants did and their defense replicate what the Giants did when they beat the Patriots in those 2 Super Bowls. But the Patriots are going to look at the Giants' offense from this year, because the only team that really had success on the Eagles' defense this year was mainly the Giants. And, in Philly when they first played, they were moving the ball, especially in the second half more so. But, Eli Manning just, forces some things sometimes, or a lot of times, and throws interceptions. That happens. But what the Giants did was ran a lot of no huddle, especially in the second half. Kept it quick, kept the same players for the Eagles on the field, because what they do is they just rotate, their front seven, mainly their defensive line, and if they can prevent that, the Patriots and Tom Brady are just perfect at drawing flags on the defense, just drawing them, whether it's a 12-minute on the field, an offsides, impeachment, whatever you call it, Tom Brady, is very good at that. That's part of why he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So I feel like the Patriots are going to do a lot of that, especially in the second half, no huddle, try to keep it quick, and especially if they're down, to come back quick, and maybe even probably when they're up, to keep it on them and keep this defense tired, because that's going to be a big thing. So I feel like both these teams are going to be looking at some of what the Giants have done against the other teams to pull out some success here.
I think something the Patriots might underlook, and it's kind of weird to say this, is the fact that, I think a lot of people overlook this too, is like Doug Peterson. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. Sean McVay just got head coach of the year. And I'm sorry, but Doug Peterson, second-year head coach, gets his team 13-3, first seed, even without his first-string quarterback, goes all the way to the Super Bowl, and you're telling me he doesn't get head coach of the year? I'm sorry. This is a team that went 7-9 last year because it was broken apart due to Chip Kelly's misfortunes, and now Doug Peterson has literally reversed it and flipped it around. And, a lot of times people are like, oh, Doug, and okay, it does happen. Doug Peterson makes some bad calls every now and then, but he learns from it. He experiences from it. When you see Doug Peterson make a 4th-and-8 call that doesn't go right, you don't see him do it again. You might see him make a 4th-and-3 call somewhere you don't like, but the problem itself gets better and better over time. And I think the thing is, we need to also remember that Doug Peterson is a lot more of a genius than I think, not only the media but Eagles fans are making him out to be. We got to give him more love and support, because to me he was the head coach of the year. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I have faith in him to put together a good game plan to keep to lead the Eagles to victory. I have faith in Doug Peterson to do that, and it's definitely doable. And Doug Peterson, I'm not necessarily going to say he's definitely going to outcoach Bill Belichick, but I feel like he can, to an extent,
Doug Peterson
coach his way into Super Bowl victory. I have a lot of faith in Doug Peterson to do that.
Doug Peterson's like Naruto. He's unpredictable.
Yeah, I think just, when I think about Coach of the Year, especially most valuable player, more so Coach of the Year, who can do the most with less? I think the Eagles had less and he did the most. So, this is obviously kind of sidetracking from the Super Bowl talk here, but I'd give him Coach of the Year. Sean McVay did have an impressive year. LA, I remember last year, LA, what was that team? And then you look at the Rams this year.
God.
You still wonder at the end of the season, what was that team? Because obviously it wasn't the greatest end. But me and Mike were talking about that when the Rams were playing that game. We said, don't sleep on Atlanta. Do not sleep on Atlanta in that game. And I thought Sean McVay did a good job. I was impressed with him.
Oh, for what he did, for what that team was, definitely he definitely turned everything around. They were in the bottom of the litter in the NFL. Now they're going to be a prime Super Bowl contender. Possibly year in, year out.
What I'm just trying to say is, bringing it back to Super Bowl, is that don't sleep on Doug. I feel like Doug Peterson is the only other competent and conscientious coach smart enough to take on Bill Belichick and the Patriots
let's
now.
Not forget let's not forget what happened before Carson went down. Let alone after Carson went down, what he's done for the Eagles. The Eagles were straight rolling, and obviously, that's not even meant to
and it always feels like he gets the team in the right position. He always makes the right choices at the right times. When to go for it on 4th down, when to not go for it. I think his decision making is good. I just hope he doesn't get. He's very aggressive. I just hope he doesn't get too aggressive at the wrong point. I pray for that. Sometimes, the challenges, he missed one challenge in the Seahawks game. I mean, we can dwell over everything because we can be a perfectionist, but I really don't blame that on him. That's the guys upstairs. They got to know that. But I just hope it isn't really a coaching decision that hurts this team. I'd rather just be like either we're outplayed or out talented in one way or another, or the ball didn't bounce our way. Not a stupid mental mistake that really hurt us, like not running the ball when you can keep yourself in field goal range or taking a sack. Like what the Falcons did. So I just hope nothing stupid like that.
But I do appreciate, he does make some bold calls. Like, I love it. Like, sometimes if he has to, especially when you had Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, when it was just a 1 yard gain, all you needed was your 6'5" quarterback to just
fall forward,
sneak it right in. And, thank goodness we have a coach that realizes that and that he, starts to go for more on these kind of conversions.
Yeah, I think an interesting thing to look at is, statistics-wise, the Patriots average more total yards a game, but when you really look at it, the Eagles rush way more than them, obviously, 132.2 to 118. But an interesting thing is they're both averaging 28.6 points per game. So what does that tell you? I mean, this game's going to be real close, and it's going to be... I personally, I'll give my prediction at the end. I don't think the winner of this game is going to exceed a touchdown lead. I really don't.
No, I think this is definitely going to be a one-score league. This is definitely going to be a one-score league. But correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor. I'm going to propose this to you. I think there's a better chance that the Eagles blow the Patriots out than there's a chance the Patriots blow the Eagles out.
Yeah, because the Eagles have a really good defense. And, you compare and contrast the defenses. The Eagles' defense is way better, so I think that alone is a reason enough. They haven't really gotten blown out in the playoffs. Obviously, they only gave up 10 points to Atlanta, who's, a little bit different this year with Steve Sarkisian as the offensive coordinator, but still Atlanta with Matt Ryan. How long has Matt Ryan been in the league,
He was MVP last year. They went to the Super Bowl last year, so, it's still a tough opponent. Everybody's saying they're going to win in the first place.
Case Keenum couldn't do anything. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, what was all that Case Keenum talk? I never bought him in 1 second. That was funny when the Case Keenum talk
I bought into the receivers.
Was that hilarious?
I bought into that receiving core. I never bought into Case Keenum, but I bought into Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. I think they got a good future there in Minnesota. It's going to be a busy offseason.
Should the Eagles have played the Saints so they could have actually played a good quarterback in preparation?
So that's interesting. Let me ask you, if you had played the Saints in that game, what do you think the result of that game would have been? Because I wondered the same thing this week. I wondered the exact same thing.
Considering the Saints' defense, I think the Eagles would have won that game.
So I think if you asked me before the Minnesota game if we were playing the Saints who would win, I honestly would think the Saints would have had the upper edge just because they have Drew Brees and Sean Payton, and if they pulled out that game. But looking after, I think the Eagles would have won just because realized what this defense could have done and just the weather that day. It would have been the same thing. We're playing the Saints, and obviously Minnesota's defense is a lot better than the Saints. I feel like we could have really torched the Saints defense as well, and I think we would have won that game. But I feel like it would have been better preparation just to because our defense come on, Case Keenum now. If we play Drew Brees, that just would have been great. But if we can hold them to Drew Brees, if we can get some turnovers out of him, if we can get to his head, realize what it is to play a really tricky offensive, or really tricky coach and a really tricky quarterback, and see what we can do. I feel like that would have been better preparation. But hey, I'm happy with the easy Minnesota 38-7 win.
Yeah, at the same time,
I'm fine with that.
Play the Saints and Drew Brees has to, he will throw the ball 60 times. If he's going to throw deep balls, that also leaves a lot of opportunities for cornerbacks to get fatigued and even injured. And I'm glad we just played a safe, full pressure game against Minnesota where Case Keenum can't long ball it, so the defense
and hey, maybe we can win the pass interference game too. Just get some deep balls. We got some physical receivers. Torrey Smith can't get more than 1 yard of separation, so he's going to be locked up with his cornerback. See if we can get some pass interference calls. See who can win that. See what happens.
I actually, to steer off the point here, you know what Drew Brees calls his sons, his 3 sons? He refers to them as the Brees boys.
See, I don't get it. Drew Brees is the best quarterback in NFL history, but I just can't stand the fact that he's too much of a family man for me.
Well, come on, Brees boys, that has such a nice ring to it, and how cute they are, just running around, just little rascals out there.
In the setting that it is as such today with the Super Bowl tomorrow, I thought I could share a Super Bowl memory that actually just blew my mind today. Do you remember when the Saints won that Super Bowl Bowl. Tracy Porter gets the pick six, and then
remember
Drew
that pick six vividly.
Drew Brees is holding his little son Kalen, and the confetti's coming
with
down.
the headphones.
Yeah, that was cool.
You looked at the Pro Bowl this past week, and Kalen's like what, 7,
I think
8 years
he's
old.
No, he's probably got a fidget spinner.
He's like 9.
And
No, I think he's
addiction
like
to
close to
his
9 years
iPhone.
old now,
He's
maybe.
9.
Maybe even 10.
They were all
Honestly, 'cause
grown
he was
up.
like, yeah, because
I just had
he's the oldest. I'm pretty sure.
It made me
Kids
feel
these
old a
days.
little bit. I can't lie, it made me feel old because I remember watching that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was a huge snowstorm all throughout the East that week.
I wonder how the game would have been if Dalvin Cook played actually now that I think about it. Because that
What
would
about-
it would have
about
been fine.
Ronnie
The
Brown?
Vikings offensive line's not good.
Okay,
so.
if Ronnie Brown were in for the Eagles, would you give him the win?
No, I wouldn't because he'll just lateral it on the 1 yard line for no reason and just like do something stupid.
Listen, so Nick Foles can't play this weekend due to an imaginary illness I just made up. So who's the next signing? Eli Manning?
Nate Studfeld.
Nate Studfeld's
Studfeld?
coming in, yeah.
Nate Studfeld.
Nate Studfeld? I don't know about that. I think I would go out of my way to get
Speaking of illnesses, I think the Patriots
Johnson.
are cheating.
RG3.
All right, theory: Patriots might be cheating again because a lot of the Eagles players are getting flu-like symptoms. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Probably Minnesota
They're playing the
fans,
Patriots.
probably just angry.
Yeah,
It's
or
also
salty
1
Minnesota
degree in
fans.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot. No. This is the thing I don't like is that because the game's in Minnesota, like a lot of Minnesota fans, like in a lot of different ways, like apparently Uber drivers are gonna drive them away from the stadium, and then like hotels aren't gonna try and let them in
Salty.
and stuff. And it's like, dude, listen, it's one thing if you're salty, but do your job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bill Belichick will say it to you. You got to do your job, man. You
Hey,
can't
it's,
just be.
it's hashtag not done now.
Like, I know you're a hashtag loser, but, hashtag help a winner out.
Hashtag
And
38-7.
listen, we're not doing so good here ourselves. We gotta listen to Justin Timberlake. I think we're all here,
Okay,
and
wait a
sad.
minute.
See, I already knew I was gonna get called for
Wait
this
a minute.
one.
Okay.
See, why not Metallica or something? That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'll be sick.
I don't know. It's the Super Bowl. It's football. It's like, full on.
Testosterone.
You gotta be great, but I guess
I'm alright with Justin Timberlake for this Super Bowl.
I would like a Daft
I'm
Punk
perfectly
Super
fine
Bowl.
with
Like,
Daft Punk.
can we get a Daft Punk Super Bowl?
Okay.
See, that's
we should just get Katy Perry again.
Are there any
No,
Prince? Are there any
I don't want
Prince
Left
fans?
Shark to come back and then we get Right Shark. And
I got a question. Are there any Prince fans in the booth?
I mess with Prince.
Prince with Prince. I was thinking this week, obviously the game's in
Hologram.
Minneapolis, where Prince is from. Justin Timberlake's
yeah.
biggest music influence is Prince. A lot of people have been speculating, he's going to tribute him, depending on what song he does, and I'm looking forward to this performance. I actually really like Justin Timberlake. My uncle has gotten the chance to meet him a couple times, says he's a really good person. I love the entertainer he is. I think he can do it all. He can act, sing, and personally, Mass, I respectively disagree. I really am looking forward to Justin Timberlake. I may watch it.
I wouldn't mind some Red Hot Chili Peppers. I remember when they came out, Bruno
Yeah.
Mars. That was probably my favorite halftime show when it was the Chili Peppers and Bruno Mars. That was actually pretty cool.
I understand.
That was pretty
no,
fun.
I understand. Everyone's gonna like. I'm
Justin
probably
Timberlake's gonna put on a good,
I'm
fun
just gonna
show,
go back-
family friendly.
No,
and
don't worry.
everything.
You guys have fun. I'm gonna go back to my room, bump some Migos, and definitely
no.
chill with the boys. Not playing, but no, I'm sure it'll be fun.
I was
It'll
thinking about
be a
this
good
the other
time.
day. Like, what is the halftime show anymore? You think about it. Like, does the halftime show still hold that same?
Dude, what
place?
even is the Super Bowl?
You think about it though. Remember, like 8-10 years ago, man.
Commercials better be good this year.
They haven't been the past 2
Yeah,
years.
they've
haven't
been
been,
really
like,
From an
bad.
entertainment
Quite a bit.
aspect, I guess. Like now that we're on the topic, so from an entertainment aspect, what do you expect? Do you think these commercials are going to be better than the ones last year, worse, or?
I have faith just because the Eagles are playing. I guess that these Super Bowl commercials will be
Who
be
takes
funny.
it? I think Budweiser gets another tearjerker. I think Budweiser gets another
Gets another
I
tearjerker.
hope
Tearjerker.
so. I hope there's funny commercials. I'm kind of scared. I mean, I won't go further into it.
I think
I'm
some
kinda scared
website
there's gonna
company's
be-
going to take the cake.
Yeah, I'm
Website
feeling
company.
GoDaddy's gonna come up with something pretty clever or
Just
something.
Is GoDaddy still up there?
Oh yeah,
my
GoDaddy's
gosh.
still up there.
Are they even allowed after that the last time the Patriots played in that Super Bowl versus the Giants, the rematch? Remember that GoDaddy commercial that made like
I just hope Mountain
every
Dew.
40-year-old mom in
Isn't
America
Danica
totally
Patrick dating
Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I just
and
hope I hope Mountain Dew doesn't do anything stupid.
Wait, Aaron Rodgers is dating Danica Patrick? I thought it was a
Doritos.
Patriots player.
No,
No.
it's Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, I get.
I know.
Oh, what is going on? Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think? I think Doritos will get a couple good jabs in there.
Yeah, the Doritos
Doritos,
are definitely. They always have something.
I'm
Pretty
kind
cool.
of scared that we might get like some just very, very, very like bad commercials. I don't know. It's either gonna be like a lot of sad ones or like some. Like,
I'm looking
very
for Dunkin'
politically-
Donuts to make to make
Donuts.
a memorable commercial, or even Wawa, just Philly area, just Wawa come out with a great Super Bowl ad, just be like, just come out of nowhere, Wawa is going to be all over the country now, and everybody's just so happy.
Does Dunkin' Donuts get a percentage after this all? Because the Eagles and Patriots are both sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts, so if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think Dunkin' Donuts sponsors everything, and we just don't know about it.
Well, the Eagles specifically have Dunkin' Donuts, and obviously Dunkin' Donuts is the most New England, Boston thing humanly possible. So, is there free Dunkin' Donuts? I mean, I know Lane Johnson promised free Bud Light.
I'm down for the free Bud Light.
I'm down for both if we could get both of them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get like a 52-cent coffee for the Eagles winning Super Bowl 52 in Philly. We'll probably do something like that.
52-cent coffee.
Yeah, we'll just
probably no cream and sugar.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'm sure if the Eagles were to win the Super Bowl, Bud Light would fulfill Lane Johnson's promise on free beer for the city.
Oh, they better. It's written. It's in Twitter sphere. They already typed it up. It's copyrighted.
No, but they would find a way to, like, people are like, no, they can't do that. No, they'll find a way to legally do it. I'm sure this Bud Light will be like, oh, we got set up stations here, and here in the city. Come by, get your free beer, show your ID, and there you go, fam. And then there you go, free beers for the people. I mean that's the safest, most legal way to set it up.
That's the most logical way, honestly. They definitely have the money, yeah. They'll definitely pair up with someone too.
That way we can. But the only thing is, if Eagles win,
money's never
the only thing. And the only negative about the Eagles winning is hearing Philly for the rest of my life. But hey, as long as we get that ring, that's all I care about. So you know what? It's worth it.
Hey, if we get that ring, I don't care if it says Philly on the ring. I don't care. I just want that ring.
I'll sign Johnny Manziel
I just want
for
the bling,
a 6-year contract if we win.
I just want to hold out a fist and have it, shine in the sunlight. That's all I want to do.
So what's the Super Bowl ring gonna look like for both teams?
It's gonna be diamonds.
I feel like the Patriots are gonna get some quirky,
carrots,
big
jewels,
big flashy white diamond.
A bulky ring this year.
I think the Eagles are gonna have a lot of black diamonds in their thing. I have a feeling they're gonna go a lot of black and white. It's gonna be like half and half.
As fluff. It's gonna be very big time. Big ring. Big rings for a big team. According to Drake.
I was actually thinking, like, entertainment wise, like this halftime show, Justin Timberlake coming up here. I remember like 8-10 years ago, man, we were having The Who, we had the Rolling Stones.
Oh, The Who was awesome.
We had all these people, and like, the halftime show used to be something. Maybe this is just because we've grown up and it doesn't really quite have that value like it used to, but when you were growing up, like, you'll admit, like, you watched that halftime show.
Oh, especially
the past 4 years, even Katy Perry, who I actually think is a good performer, I didn't watch that halftime show. I don't think I've watched a halftime show in 4 years. And I
don't remember watching it last year.
The halftime, especially when my team is playing, that's my time to go run a lap around the neighborhood, reevaluate what in the hell just happened. What in the hell just happened in those 30 minutes and get right back out there because we got second half football in the second half.
I think I may have watched like one halftime show. No, I do remember watching the Katy Perry one because we were making fun of it, but
what was the shark?
Just like also her coming down on a lion, and all I could think of was like the Detroit Lions because it's like, oh my god, look, they're not there again.
Which rappers do you think are gonna be there? You have any rapper predictions?
Oh please, no, none, please.
Jay-Z maybe. Then they come out and perform.
If Meek was free, you'd know he'd be there.
Oh yeah, the Eagles are running out to dreams and nightmares when they come out.
If Lil Uzi comes out, I'd be happy.
Well,
Lil Uzi's a Philly guy.
Lil Uzi should come out, do a little shrug.
All we have is Sammy Adams and Cousin Stiz, and I don't think either of them can afford to go to the Super Bowl.
This is such an American Super Bowl. I love it. Like, this is just such a great Super Bowl feel. I have a feeling like this Super Bowl is just going to be awesome.
I love it.
Boston and Philadelphia. I think the two most American cities, in my opinion, Boston and Philadelphia.
They are the two American teams.
We had democracy here, and the majority of the Revolutionary War was fought up in New England. I agree. I think this is beautiful. I love the Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah, Eagles, Patriots. I mean,
if you ask me who's America's team, it's not the Cowboys, it's the Patriots or the Eagles. The Patriots because, the name itself, Patriots, and the Eagles because Philadelphia is one of the most historic cities, and so is Boston. It's just two of the most historic cities with two of the most historic names: Patriots,
good
Eagles.
Food. They both have good
food.
I'm gonna throw out a quick little quirky fun stat real quick. Speaking of names, okay, so Eagles wide receiver Torrey Smith is 1-0 in Super Bowls where he plays for a team that's a bird against a team that's mascot represents a group of people.
Where did you read that?
Yeah, just figured it out. Yeah, just because Ravens, 49ers, and 49ers represent the Gold Rush people out in California.
I saw that foreshadow actually earlier because we saw Torrey Smith at the NFL draft this year. Remember we drove by us on that golf cart?
Yeah.
Man, little did I know. Little did anyone know.
Torrey Smith.
That anything would go down. I mean, I'm not just talking about the Eagles making the Super Bowl. I'm talking about all of this. Little did anyone know. When we were sitting there watching that draft, honestly, did you think one, you would even be in the Super Bowl, and two, Carson Wentz would have a cane on the sideline.
Okay.
Carson Kane is gonna call him now. Carson Kane is probably the
No, he got rid of the cane now. He's off the cane. He's walking on
badass thing I've ever
2 feet.
seen on the Eagles. It's just
So he's Millie rocking now.
So I'm gonna bring up a conversation that none of you guys are there for, but I remember talking with my friends. This was back. I think this was a little bit after free agency, after the Eagles got Alshon, Torrey. We're pretty much set up. This is after the draft and everything. So we're just waiting for preseason to start at this point. And I told my friends, I was like, this Eagles team, there is no reason they can't be in the Final Four of the NFL or possibly make a Super Bowl run. I was confident in this team. Carson taking a step up, the free agents we signed, and how good this defense was. Watching them all last year, I knew this defense had potential to be great and do great things, and that's what this defense is doing. So I didn't expect it, but I was thinking an NFC Championship run is a very high possibility, and a Super Bowl run is definitely not out of the question if we can get to that one game to get into the Super Bowl. So I didn't expect it, but I knew it could happen with high possibility because I really had a lot of faith in this team and the way it was built.
This is crazy. Actually, I'm reading this right now. Foles is the third quarterback and first since the Giants' Jeff Hollister in 1990 to make 3 or fewer regular season starts and then guide his team to a Super Bowl. So, to get back to, we've kind of talked a lot about all this other stuff and it's all been fun, but
we had a halftime break, but now we're back.
How do you think Nick Foles will respond to just all of this? Do you think,
he's going to throw 7 touchdowns.
What do you expect? How many touchdowns are you giving Nick Foles in this game?
I'm giving him 2.
2 touchdowns? Do you think the third one, if the Eagles were to get a third, would come on a run play or would it come on some sort of other momentum
I think the Eagles are going to have to get 4 offensive touchdowns, and they're going to have to get 2 and 2. They're going to have to be extremely balanced. Just as balanced as Jags were, but not Blake Bortles incompetent. That's what the Eagles have to do, because the Jaguars had a great game plan. Tom Coughlin, you can obviously tell he was in the Jaguars' ear the whole entire week. They had a beautiful game plan, and if Blake Bortles wasn't trash, they would win.
Right.
In my opinion, so I think this is very doable
in that game. So.
And honestly, if you look at the Jaguars, they only have 1 pass rusher. They're Saxonville, they got a lot of sacks, but they have 1 elite pass rusher. You look at it and you're like, oh my god, and that's Calais Campbell.
Right.
And they just negated Calais Campbell, and what happened? Nothing.
Right. And that second half, they really didn't get to him too much.
Yeah,
at all.
I think this is what the Eagles have over those Seahawks, those Falcons, and even this Jaguars team is that defensive line depth. We have 7 guys who have, I think, is 20 plus pressures or double-digit pressures on the year. We're in the backfield more percentage than any other NFL team. We might not have the sacks, but we're pressuring the quarterback more. And how do you beat Tom Brady? Not necessarily sacks, just pressure, hands in his face, getting hands up, hitting him in the chest while he throws, hitting him in the back while he throws, hitting his forearm while he throws, getting his offensive lineman into his throwing lane. He hits his hand on offensive lineman's helmet after, when he follows through. Stuff like that, and I feel like this Eagles team can definitely do that. More so than any of these other teams, and they can do it for 4 quarters just because the amount of people they have. Just hope to pay, because I don't think the Patriots are going to run no huddle the whole entire game. So there's going to come to a point where it's just going to be, we're just lighting up Tom Brady.
The thing the Eagles can't sleep on, though, is the fact that the Patriots defense, just like every other Super Bowl winning year, the defense has buckled down. Because remember in the beginning of the year, everyone's like, yeah, dude, the Patriots defense sucks because Deshaun Watson had a good game and the Chiefs had a good game. But then, because the early season Chiefs had a good game, when they're good in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, where they're on top of the Week 4 power rankings.
So exactly. And so, but the thing is, every time at the end of the year, the Patriots defense always buckles down and does what it has to do. Their fourth quarter defense, especially when they beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, was tremendous. I'm pretty sure they hadn't allowed any points in the fourth quarter the entire playoff run.
Defensively,
So the thing is, that's why I don't think this will be a high-scoring game. And when you ask touchdowns for Nick Foles, I only think 1 because it's this game might be under 20 for both teams.
Right. I think, defensively, think about the defining point, in my opinion, in the Patriots' legacy is that Malcolm Butler interception because, if they ran the ball, if Seattle runs that ball and Marshawn Lynch scores that touchdown, what is the Patriots' legacy? It still, has a great amount of deal to it, but doesn't quite have that value that it would have had, if Marshawn Lynch had scored there for the Seattle Seahawks. Late in this game, Stephon Gilmore makes the big play. Man, if Stephon Gilmore doesn't make that play, the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Minneapolis tomorrow night.
And it's going to be an ugly Super Bowl. We're all going to cringe.
And we would have sat there the whole time, and we would have realized, oh my gosh, I should have saved the whales. This is all because I didn't save the whales. And because exactly, no, I'm totally playing. But I think Nick Foles. I think Nick Foles is going to get that ball at the very end, and he's going to drive it down the field. It's a question of, does he score the game-winning touchdown, or does this secondary, like they have and on time as usual, makes that play? How can the Patriots do it again? I mean, that's pretty much the thing. When you look at it in the bigger picture here, that's going to be the theme going into the next 24 hours into tomorrow night, because we're less than 24 hours away. Can the Patriots do it again? Because I'm thinking, the Eagles are going to get up in this game, and I'm not going to be shocked in the least if the Eagles have a fourth quarter lead and the Patriots are going to have to do it again. So can they pull it through? Yeah. And this is a good Eagles team. Is this the team that finally contains that?
Speaking of secondary, I think an interesting comparison we could do here is Gilmore versus Darby. You know what I'm saying? They're both young cornerbacks, both freshly minted on the team. They're both first year corners for each team here. Both young, and when it comes to question who's been better this year, at the same time, Darby's been injured for 10 weeks, but who's the one that's going to make the clutch play in the end? And honestly, it very well could be a secondary player that ends the game on either an interception or a very clutch pass deflection or something. And so, who is better suited for the situation? Is it Darby and the Eagles secondary, or is it the Patriots secondary here?
That's
a tough one.
This is tough because it's really hard to go against a Belichick coach team, but I'm gonna have to give it to the Patriots just because Stephon Gilmore I think is the most talented corner in this game, not by a lot, but just by enough. And Belichick always has secondaries that they're not going to blow the game, a lot of times, and I just feel safer with their secondary compared to the Eagles.
Right, and you think about you make a good point about when it comes down to it, they're most likely not to blow the game. Those 2 Super Bowl losses to the Giants, and I may have said this on the show a while back, but I want to say it now because it's very important. David Tyree's catch and Mario Manningham's catch both eventually led to a game-winning touchdown by the New York Giants. If you look at those 2 plays, the Patriots were exactly where they needed to be. And that's not the Patriots. That's the preparation going into this week. That's Matt Patricia. That's Bill Belichick. And you make a good point, Mike. These cornerbacks all year, you have Malcolm Butler, who, personally, I'll say as a Patriots fan, I think is slightly overrated. You have DeJuan Harmon, who's been in this game a lot. Devin McCourty's the one who really, really sticks out to me here. This will be his 4th Super Bowl, I believe. He's been out there a lot. Defensively, you don't really have line-wise the starters or players you had on all those Super Bowl rosters, but this secondary has been there, done that, and they know what it takes. Especially, I'm going to give a lot of praise to the Eagles here with a receiving core like this. They know what it's, they know this is not going to be easy. It's going to have to be a lockdown game. In the 4th quarter, they're going to have to do exactly what they did against the Jaguars, and I think they're going to be able to do it, but the Eagles, you got to look at late in this game. The Patriots corners are going to be in the right position because Bill Belichick's going to put them in that right position. How is Nick Foles going to be able to get around it? More importantly, how will Doug Peterson be able to scheme around it? This third quarter, man. I can't wait for that.
You know what the Eagles actually need? The Eagles need that Mario Manningham type catch, and you know who's the guy who can do that? Free agent acquisition, Alshon Jeffrey. Because here's the thing, you look at the stats and you're like, yeah, this isn't wide receiver 1 stats. But you look at the catches, Alshon Jeffrey. Did you watch the Rams game? That last touchdown he had when Carson Wentz, right before he went out with a torn ACL? Alshon Jeffrey is the kind of guy who can make this catch against the Patriots. He is the one who can make that clutch play, if that's the given scenario. That's not to say that he could also mess it up, but he is the guy, I feel.
So that was my next question. So is Alshon Jeffrey, if you had to pick one player on the Eagles who's making that game-winning touchdown / run, and
Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar is going to do it.
Nelson Aguilar is the game winning, but Alshon's the clutch 3rd and 19 conversion.
Like the 3rd and 6 at the 32-yard line. Nick Foles is scrambling. He just throws it. Alshon does like a one-handed toe tap in, catch. Boom. Then Nelson Aguilar gets a 40-yard touchdown or something. But
he gets a 40-yard touchdown after the 32 when we get it there.
It's if you look at the Patriots matchup against the Jaguars, what do you have to do to beat the Jaguars? Just stop the run, make Blake Bortles beat you. But if you just look at that Vikings game, you can just see Nick Foles can beat you, and this team has let up big plays before, so it could be done. This offense can really put up a lot of points because it resembles a Chief offense, and I know it goes back all the beginning of the season, but usually when the Chiefs play the Patriots, they have some success, especially the Andy Reid Chiefs, with their offense and putting up points. So I think we can do it. I think we can definitely do it.
And while like Matt Ryan is like I would say he's like a more talented quarterback, at the same time Nick Foles just has a better offense. Yeah. Like he's got more weapons, he's got more running backs.
The Eagles are a more talented team. If you put their rosters next to each other, just talent wise, the Eagles are a more talented team. They have the best offensive line in the game. In my opinion, the best defensive line in the game. Their defense is definitely top 3 in the league. They have great receivers. We're not great, so really good receivers.
It's really like you're versing a tougher Falcons team. Like the Falcons just went Super Saiyan.
You're just facing the greatest quarterback of all time and the greatest coach of all time, the two most important elements to a football team. At
the end of the day,
when it comes to winning a game, singular game, the two most important elements, they have the greatest of all time.
It's like
that's
an unstoppable force versus an immovable object. That's the best way to describe this game.
Poetry.
Yep. Yeah. Rhythm and poetry. R.A.P. Rap. I'm not a rapper.
There's been a lot of extra prep this week. This has probably been a very long week for both teams.
All right, I'm asking you this. Is this the most you've seen the Patriots praise a team regarding like individual players and like schemed-wise, or just like in preparation to a Super Bowl? Because I feel like it is, but I'm going to ask you because you kind of see it more.
I believe so. I think the only team that would compare to that is the 2013 rematch with the New York Giants. And I think the obvious answer to your question there would be because they knocked us off in that undefeated season. But I really even think in that Giants game, I almost want to say, I hate to say it, but I feel like the respect nor really the class was there because we realized this is the New York Giants. There's nothing friendly about this game. We want that rematch. We want to get them back for what they took from us. And it didn't go our way, unfortunately. But I think overall, these teams haven't faced each other since Sam Bradford was the quarterback for Philadelphia. So this is the first time they're seeing each other in 2 years. Everyone has been very, very respectful towards each other in the media. You get, Eagles coaches, players praising the Patriots, and then it's reciprocated back and forth. I'll say one thing I've noticed about this week is just everyone seems very level-headed, both sides, coaching staffs on both sides, and I feel like in years past by now there would be a little bit of stir, but there's not a lot of stir,
I feel like there's a lot of...
just, you can hear, I'm going to joke, you can hear the focus almost.
And there's a lot of fun / focus. I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had. Like Bill Belichick smiling more in press conferences. I just feel like it's more of like people are enjoying this Super Bowl. It's just something around this Super Bowl where this just feels like this could be an all-time great Super Bowl game. Like there's just something about it where just everything around it just seems like cool. I don't know if it's because it's in a high of -1 degree in Minneapolis or like what's about it, but like it just seems like. Just being around it, I don't know if it's because the Eagles are involved, but just like it just seems like a very beautiful event that's happening, and this is just awesome. It's just something about it, in my opinion. I just don't know any better way to explain it.
You know what I realize? I'm sorry to change the subject. The biggest variable in the Super Bowl might be, and it's actually it's not a big one, but it's the loss of Darren Sproles. And I really feel like a punt return touchdown from someone like him. Because because
Kenyon Barner's not doing anything, really, on special teams. Special teams are not... that's low-key where the game can be won.
When the Eagles beat the Patriots back a couple years ago, it was mainly because the special teams was making... Yeah,
we had a pick 6 when the Patriots were in the red zone, and we had a special teams touchdown, so...
You want to think about
what we need.
So,
one guy that we're not talking about at all, man, this has got to be his probably 5th Super Bowl, is Matthew Slater on the Patriots.
Oh, yeah. Slater.
He's been there.
Can I be honest? I have not heard that name in
number 18 on the Patriots.
Centuries.
Yeah, he's a vet. He's an OG, man. He's an OG, man.
He can't do much else, but man, he plays that special. He does the special teams well. Let's do that special teams, man.
Let's do that special teams, man. That's Matthew Slater, Mr. Special Teams.
I think the funniest thing. This is no comparison whatsoever. There's actually no comparison here, but for me. You guys not having Carson, us not having Edelman, I'm really going to miss Julian Edelman out there because he's that one guy on the offense that, you'll notice Bill Belichick keeps a very composed team, but I like Julian because he's got that energy and he's got that swagger, and I'm not going to lie, he plays with that kind of I'm going to shove it down your throat, score a touchdown type attitude, and, he made some big plays versus Atlanta, so we're going to need some receivers to step up.
You want Julian Edelman, man? We want Carson Wentz in there.
There's no comparison.
There's
no comparison.
Really,
but for me, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, oh no, 100%. Just imagine if Carson could get a playoff run under his belt and second year be in the Super Bowl. What it would do for his development, but at least his team has his developmental opportunity. I just think the Eagles can do it. And I just hope they do it because I don't want them to lose and just all of a sudden fall off the face of the earth, because that happens a lot when you play the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That happens a lot.
Yeah. Are there any other interesting topics in the Super Bowl we can talk about here?
Well, so we started this show off with Nick Foles versus Tom Brady. and we didn't really get into this question here. Nick Foles, when looking at the Patriots defense in that second half, Mike, you really stressed that second half. What type of playbook are you running? Let's say on the
Patriots defense.
If on the Patriots defense, yes, but let's say we're down 17-10 Eagles at the halftime. I actually think that will be the halftime, believe it or not. 17-10 Eagles at the half. That's my prediction. That'll be at the end. What should the Patriots do in the locker room in the second half? Because I can tell you all everything about the Patriots, but as someone who's spectated and watched all these Super Bowls, defensively, what have the Patriots done well in the second half of Super Bowls?
Adjust.
That could slow down an Eagles team with so many good receivers.
Man coverage.
Sure, I mean man coverage, but let's say Nelson Aguilar is getting a lot of deep balls and Alshon Jeffrey's getting involved in the defense. How are you going to be able to contain both those guys and still save room for Zach Ertz and that run game?
I'm blitzing if I'm the Patriots defense. I'm just going blitzkrieg. I'm blitzing. That's what I'm doing in the second half. I feel like that's how you can beat this.
So do you think Foles think he's got his feet set and then just send all hell?
I would just send all hell every single play because honestly, if they run it but you're blitzing 7, it's gonna be hard to run when you're blitzing 7. Or if they want to pass it real quick, you're just gonna have a free rusher just running into Nick Foles' face. You're gonna hit him. I feel like if I'm the Patriots, that's what I'm doing because I feel like there's going to come to a point where Nick Foles is gonna have to improv and do something that a great quarterback can do, and Carson Wentz has a better opportunity doing that. But
Foles can't escape the pressure like Carson can.
Yeah, and if we had Carson, we could escape the pressure. It would be impossible to stop us. But I think if you want to stop the Eagles, I would just blitz. I mean, I'm not a football expert, but I would say blitz. I feel like that would be the best chance because if you blitz, you have a better chance stopping the run. And if you blitz, you're gonna have to make Nick Foles make quick decisions, play in, play out, play in, play out, play in, play out. Then all of a sudden he might make a mistake because it's only Nick Foles. So. But if I'm the Patriots, I think they will do that in the second half. Just send all hell and just go straight blitzkrieg, and then Bill Belichick will just try to destroy Nick Foles.
So there's obviously no comparison here. What do you think, for me personally, if the Patriots get number 6 and the Eagles get number 1, for Philadelphia, this is everything. This is literally everything. For New England, it may seem from a Philadelphia Eagles fan, or anyone who's a fan of anyone besides the New England Patriots, it's just another one. For me personally, I just want to have I'm sorry if you could just let me have a second here. I was raised up a Patriots fan. My great-grandmother gave me a Tom Brady jersey when I was young. My whole family was diehard New England Patriots fans. All I've ever known is Boston sports, watching this team. And I can just say, I'd just like to get, my 2 cents in here. I just say how honored and blessed and just incredibly, this is an incredible blessing to watch them play in this game so much. I mean, it's Brady's 8th Super Bowl. For God's sake, we're going for number 6, and I know I never take any of this for granted because every year I feel like it gets sweeter, but I have a message for anyone who is a Patriots fan or anyone who's even just rooting for New England, don't take this game for granted. Regardless of the result of this game, if the Patriots lose, you tip your cap to Philadelphia. We've done what we've always done. We come back the next season and we get better. But if you win with class, understand that this is unbelievable what we're witnessing. It's never happened before. Tom Brady could get the most Super Bowl rings by any quarterback. And appreciate this run for what it is, and appreciate just how much emotion, just how much I love sports. Philadelphia, Super Bowl is everything to them, and then for New England, just the legacy. I just think there's a lot of outside things that play into this Super Bowl, and I just love the whole atmosphere. I'm looking forward to this game, and I think personally this is I haven't looked forward to a Super Bowl like this since 2013, since the rematch. And I can tell you I didn't have this type of emotion or this type of just excitement that I had last year. Even that 28-3 game, I still don't think it's going to be able to top the amount of excitement, emotion, and just stress this game's going to cause, because this for me means a lot, and I know this means a lot for Philadelphia too.
Yeah, this is a lot. I think you just kind of described it perfectly. How the atmosphere, just everything around it, just everything building up to it is just perfect. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it still hasn't even really hit me. The Eagles are gonna play in the Super Bowl until once it's 6:30, and then we see the kickoff happen. I'm gonna be like, whoa, we're actually playing.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna, because I mean, 2004. I mean, I was only so old. I mean, I remember been around. I was watching the living room with my mom and dad. My dad made some pizza. I remember kind of the environment around it. How Donovan McNabb choked a little bit, but.
And actually threw up.
Yeah, literally threw up. Literally threw up.
So I don't think Hilarious. Nick Foles is gonna do that.
I don't think Nick Foles would do that. Nick Foles wants to be a pastor.
On how many Eagles players throw up. I'm gonna say none.
I'm gonna say none.
Every time an Eagles player
Donovan McNabb comes down as the honorary captain, throws up right in the middle of the field.
Drinking game. Drink your beer every time.
No, drinking game.
Eagles.
Every time Chris Collinsworth said someone's gutsy, take a sip.
Every time Jeff Garcia comes in and gets clutch, just finish whatever you
Every
have in your
time David
hands.
Akers comes out for a game-winning field goal and misses.
Doesn't even have to be alcohol. If you have a glass of water, that's fine too.
What about every time an Eagles or Patriots fan chirps at each other, or a player chirps at each other after a play? You'd be wasted by 10 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah, because all the Eagles do is talk.
No, it's going to be a little bit back and forth. It's going to be a reciprocated game. I think it's going to be... Both these teams have a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think there's going to be a lot of fighting. I mean, if anything, it might be between, like,
they'll be chirping at each other.
Jalen Mills and Brandon Cooks, because, I don't know, they're both just, like, you know,
Passionate
young
people.
bullin' boys who are just crazy.
Very passionate people.
Yeah, but I don't think there's really going to be, like, whoever wins at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure they're both going to dap each other up and be chilling, you know? It's not going to be anything bad, you know?
Okay, if the Patriots win, who's MVP?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
You think Tom Brady will win it? If they do win it, it'll have to be him.
I really do, yeah.
Eagles, I'm going Alshon Jeffrey.
Eagles, you're going Alshon Jeffrey.
Just because
So you really think Mr. Jeffrey's going to have a big game, man?
I think Eagles, honestly, ever since we got Alshon Jeffrey, I always felt good about that acquisition. I love him because
I felt like he was a perfect fit.
The thing was,
I'm not gonna lie to you. Even when I saw him coming out of South Carolina, you know, when all my friends, you know, in high school, you know, media arts class, you know, just huddle around a computer, watch highlights. I just always wanted Alshon Jeffrey to be an Eagle.
well, the thing is, you know, you watch Alshon Jeffrey, it's like, what did the Eagles need these past few years? Okay, we had Jordan Matthews as a wide receiver one. It's like, he's not a wide receiver one. We need a wide receiver one. And it's like, you know, not Des Bryant. Des Bryant isn't good. You know, we needed someone good. And there was like talks about Kenny Stills, and it's like, you know, thank goodness we didn't get Kenny Stills, because it would have just been, you know, another free agent fluke. That's someone Chip Kelly would have signed. We got Alshon Jeffrey. He's a big boy. He makes big catches. And he said last year, my team is going to the Super Bowl next year. He didn't say it was the Bears. He said, my team.
So Alshon Jeffrey's going to put the team on his back?
Look what Alshon Jeffrey doesn't go back on his words. He says, and he says it right now. He's like, there ain't no if. We are winning the Super Bowl. Okay, Alshon, you could chill right there. But if there's anyone I know who's more determined to win it, it's Mr. Jeffrey, number 17.
I think for the Eagles, if they win, it's going to have to be defensive player, and I think it would be Jalen Mills who wins MVP if the Eagles win.
Jalen Mills?
I feel like Jalen Mills is going to come up with a big pick.
I would see Brandon Graham,
I feel like
maybe.
he's going to come up with a big pick, maybe even pick 6, or you know, just something important. Maybe see a little Jalen Mills get a little something. I think that's a good possibility.
I feel like Jalen Mills is going to be the reason why the Eagles might lose it, if anything.
So are we getting to the points where
because Brandon Cooks is going to torch him.
We're right about that point. Will any of you be dyeing your hair green for tomorrow night? Because I can tell you, I have a friend that I'd like to shout out on the show who goes to school up at Boston College. She was actually a diehard Eagles fan living in Boston who dyed his hair green. I'll show you after the show.
Nice.
Full out going green. I saw green hair on campus today, so this is now twice.
Yes.
I'm asking you guys, are you about this? Is this a movement we can get going?
I'm gonna wear my little football helmet.
Go
I'm gonna wear my little leather football helmet.
I'll be down to
I already got my whole I got my whole entire outfit planned out. I know what I'm wearing exactly to
So what are we wearing tomorrow?
If part of my hair could be green and like the rest of it,
Okay.
if it's like a midnight green, that would actually look kind of fresh.
Okay, so I'm wearing this like little like old time leather helmet looking Eagles thing. You know, like I got it on NFL Shop like a while ago. I'm wearing my Nick Foles shirt that I got back in the Chip Kelly days. I bought that shirt over LaShawn McCoy's shirt. That's how much I was into Nick Foles. I got my Eagles scarf, my lucky scarf, and I'm wearing it. I'm definitely going to wear that. I'm wearing some Scooby-Doo pajamas because I wore those to both of the playoff games I went to. You know, wore them at thermals as, to get warm. And I'm wearing a pair of black Nike socks and my flip-flops.
I'm going to go with my Rob Gronkowski jersey no longer fits me. I really wanted to go with the salute to service, but we're going to go basic. Team's playing in white, but I'm going to be wearing all blue. Going with navy blue sweatpants, Nikes to be exact. I got my Patriots navy hoodie. I'm going to have my snapback on, throwback all red Patriots. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll also have a beanie. I'll also have a change of clothes because regardless of the result, I'm going to need it. So I'm going to have a change of clothes.
I'm going to wear my Calvin Johnson jersey and some shorts, maybe some very long socks and some sandals. And I'm going to wear a straw hat, and I think I'll be ready for the game. And maybe glasses that say 2010 on them.
So Team Brady's going to be in Minnesota. Team Brady, Tom Brady, it was funny reading all those headlines about how Tom Brady has fond memories of milking cows in Minnesota with his family.
Do you think Tom Brady has a U.S. bank account? I don't think he does. Therefore, the Eagles win. All right, guys, this is a good show. I'm just kidding. No, oh, man.
U.S. Bank. Do you think the Eagles players are all Wells Fargo or Citizens Bank?
No,
Wells Fargo.
Definitely no. Lincoln Financial.
Yeah, there's three banks here. Which one are they?
Dude,
we're definitely Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln was never financial. I mean,
we're Santander Bank because there's a lot of Santander
slaves, but that's right.
I just want to say
TD Ameritrade in Boston. They're probably. I'm sure Tom Brady's at TD Ameritrade.
Bud Light wants us to win so bad.
TD Ameritrade. I feel like Benjamin Frank. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about.
Bud Light definitely wants us to win.
Bud Light. Yeah, I think Sammy Adams may want the Patriots to win. Sammy Adams-Brewery, for whatever that's worth. I'm hearing that they're...
Hey, Joel Embiid's going, and he's 4-0 at Eagles games.
Yeah,
he's going to the game?
Yes, Joel Embiid's going to the Super Bowl, and the Eagles are 4-0, and Joel Embiid is in attendance for an Eagles game.
So we got the perfect time waster, by the way, at 3 o'clock. We got Temple Hoops, and then we got the Super Bowl right after.
Who are they playing?
We're playing Tulane in New Orleans.
Tulane, yeah, big game after a big win, man.
As long as you can make it to 3 o'clock for us three, I think we should be good, because right after that Temple game ends, it's kickoff. So tomorrow's going to be fun. I'm hoping for, obviously you guys are hoping for the Temple win, Eagles win, I'm hoping for the Temple win, Pats win. First off, though, Temple's got to get that win. That's a whole nother topic. They've been playing well, though. Shout them out right now. Doing well.
Hey, man, great game.
Well,
so overall, guys, is it about that time?
I think it's about that time for the predictions.
Okay, so I'll start out here, and then we'll go around. Massimo, you can end it off. My final score prediction of this game is going to be 24-28. The Patriots will get the victory. I said 17-10 Eagles at the half. I think the Patriots are going to come out, make it 17-13, 17. They're going to score that touchdown. They're going to tie it. I think the Eagles are going to take the lead. Eventually, the Patriots are either going to force a safety or they're going to get a field goal, and then I think they're going to score there. And I think it's going to be 28-20 at the end of it. Like I said, Nick Foles, I believe, will get the ball in the last drive. Stephon Gilmore gets the game-winning interception or the game-winning play.
All right. So I'm going to go final score prediction, start out there. Eagles 31, Patriots 26. I think the Eagles jump on them early. I think they come out quick. I think they get a defensive turnover that propels them to a 2-possession lead. They keep that 2-possession lead going into halftime. Then third quarter, Patriots come back. And I just think there's going to be either a big strip sack or a big QB hit that leads to an error throw. That's a late turnover, and either scores off that turnover, gets the Eagles in prime position to take the lead, hold on to the league, and clinch the Super Bowl 31-26. I think the Eagles are going to bring it down Broad Street.
I'm going to go with an Eagles 17-14 victory.
Ooh,
and I'm going to go with the fact that Jake Elliott's actually going to make a field goal and not miss it, circa legit.
Jake Elliott for the win? Or
Jake Elliott, not Jake Elliott for the win. I think it's actually, I feel like it could be like a last-second touchdown. It could just be completely normal. But all I know is I think it's going to be a little more defensive than I think these two defenses deserve a lot more respect than people give them.
So I'm going to switch my score around. Same differential. I'm going to go 24-20, not 24-28. Because 24-20 makes way more sense because I got a 17-10 Eagles halftime lead. I think it's going to be 17-17. Jake Elliott's going to get that field goal.
Dude, we're journalism majors. Who does math? It's okay.
I feel like the Patriots are probably going to take the lead for the most part, and then at the end is when the Eagles are going to make a game-changing play. But we'll see. It's going to be a big game. It starts tomorrow at, who knows? Sometimes it says 6:30, other times 6:47.
Yeah, I remember one time it was a start time. Yeah, it was like 6:47.
Was that San Francisco?
So guys, just make sure.
It was, yeah.
Just turn on your TV at 5:30.
I don't get it.
Just turn on your TV at 5:30 and just keep it on that channel. And don't worry about it. Just don't do anything. Get a second TV if you have to. Get your snacks ready in the meantime. Just relax. The game's on at 6-something-ish at US Bank Stadium at the Viking Stadium. Poor Vikings. Hey, no one's going to be shouting skull.
That's what happens when you lose 38-7 in an NFC Championship game.
At least we can all agree that we're better than the Vikings. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we are.
Respect to the Vikings. They had a good year this year.
Yeah, great fight, but
Super Bowl's between the two greatest,
got the
right?
Got the matchups. We're going to hug it out Monday. We'll hug it out Monday. We'll definitely hug it out Monday, no matter what happens.
Any final statements you guys want to give? Final thoughts?
Statements. I'd like to send love up to my family up north who will all be watching this game, all my friends and family. Go Patriots. God, it's so great. I love rooting for this team. I love watching them. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful to be a Boston sports fan. I can't tell you, do not take this for granted. Enjoy this moment, Patriots fans. If you're a Patriots fan living in Philadelphia, stay safe. Keep your mouth shut because we have 5 Super Bowls. There's no need to talk. The legacy is cemented. We need to focus on Sunday. Those 5 are the 5 that happened in the past. We're focused on February 4th, 2018. That's tomorrow. Go Patriots.
This is the day before the day. It's a great time to be a Philadelphia fan, man. It's heartbreak
after. Day before. Oh my gosh.
It's the day before the day.
Before the day.
I remember, being at attendance, Game 6, 2010, Patrick Kane beats the Flyers, just seeing that championship loss in 2010. Got it in 2008 with the Phillies when they brought it home, but, football, this is a football town. What this would do, I heard rumors might shut down Broad Street for 4 days. They don't know when they want to throw the parade because it just might be an influx of people. They don't know what's going to happen. This could be a whole week party. Temple's campus could be shut down for a couple of days because Broad Street would just be inactive and blocked off and just party everywhere. So this could be a celebration like no other. This could be some type of event that we all need to witness and see. And if the Eagles can pull this off, man, we're going to be right in the middle of it, Mass. Me and you party until dawn. Just keep it going if the Eagles can pull this off. But I'm rooting. I'm going to go hard. Try not to have a heart attack, but it's going to be fun. And I'm loving this opportunity, man. This is great.
It's going to be a crazy time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to us. It's been The First Line. Be sure to follow us at TFL Sports Talk on Twitter. We'll see you guys next time when we have a victor in the Super Bowl. I'm going to go get a pizza. Take care.